What is up, everybody? Matt Modi here to give you some bangers for the Monday Night Football game. We have actually an awesome game, a banger of a game. We have the Jets versus the 49ers. I'm going to have one official bet for you guys to lock in, and then I'm going to have one honorable mention as well. Beginning of the year, even though the game's awesome, don't really know what to do with these two teams as of right now, so decided to play it a little bit light. In terms of how everything has gone on so far this season, I'm actually just going to do a recap once the entire week one has finished, because the games are being played on different days, different recording days. It gets kind of confusing, so I don't really have a yesterday day to recap for you guys, but I'm just going to do it every week. So starting of week two, I'll recap how week one went and all that stuff, just so you guys know. In terms of last year, player props was by far the most profitable I was betting in the NFL. I kind of have a different category of how I bet things: upset picks, early week one, or early in the week lines that we're betting, and then player props up over 20 units betting player props. By far my best. So hopefully we can continue that success this year. If you're new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe. Then of course for this video, if you could like, if you could comment, I would appreciate that as well. And then the last thing I will mention before we get into the bangers is that I do have a dub club where I send all my plays out for $5 a month across all sports. So right now, baseball, we're getting my dong report picks. During basketball, you'll get my player props for that. $5 a month gets it sent directly to your phone via text, email, or Telegram. If you're interested, check that out. If not, no problem. Still going to get everything out on YouTube. Starting with our first and only official bet of this game, I'm going with Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. Minus 160 odds is the best offered price at DraftKings. Now, I will admit, this is about as square as a bet can possibly get when you're betting the NFL. Not only are you betting on an anytime touchdown, but you're betting on the king of anytime touchdowns, which was Christian McCaffrey last year. With that said, the minus 160 odds that we are getting on DraftKings is actually still a good value. That's the most important thing here. Like, I almost never play anything at minus 160, right? Honestly, the highest I'll go is about minus 150, but sports betting is all about value. It's all about the win percentage of your bet versus the win rate that you need to be profitable based on the odds you are betting. In this case, minus 160 is actually a really good price for Christian McCaffrey. It's also a good price for a couple reasons. Number one, let's compare it to every other book. FanDuel, minus 190. Caesars, minus 275. I don't know what Caesars is doing, or maybe I don't know what DraftKings is doing is a better way to say it. But Caesars has this same bet at minus 275. Bet Rivers, minus 250. Pinnacle, minus 203. All these books are pricing it significantly higher than what we got it at DraftKings. That is value. Also, I know it's a different season, I get it, but last year, this was priced in the minus 300s pretty much the entire year. It was basically an auto guarantee to score a touchdown every week last year. Now, I get they're playing a good defense, but with Trent Williams back, the 49ers offensive line should be fine. And if they only score 2 touchdowns in this game, that would not be a great game. It's really likely that one of those 2 touchdowns is from Christian McCaffrey. For those of you who forgot, here is what Christian McCaffrey did last year. He played 19 total games. He scored a touchdown in 16 of those 19 games. It's a very, very good hit rate. That includes the playoffs, so 19 games including the playoffs. Now, one game that he did not score a touchdown, he barely played half the snaps because they ended up taking him out early, as that game didn't really matter. It was at the end of the year. They already clinched the 1 seed, so he only played half the snaps. So if we're assuming that he's not going to play only half the snaps in this game, it was really 16 of 18 games in which he scored a touchdown. So 2 games he missed, 3 games if you want to count that one, which is fine. He had 5 games in which he scored 2 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns in one game and 4 touchdowns in another game. So 7 times did he have multiple touchdowns. Only 2 or 3 times did he have 0 touchdowns. He was just a touchdown machine last year. And minus 160, like I said, is a very, very good value from a line shopping perspective. So if you're strictly an EV bettor, checks that box. It's a really good value when you compare it to what you were paying the same price last year, which that one isn't as important as the line shopping, of course. And it's a really good value in terms of a hit rate. If you just assign a win percentage, probably going to hit at a higher rate than the reflected odds of minus 160. So again, I almost never play these types of odds, but in certain situations, you can actually find value on them because most people are probably just going to ignore it, or they're not, and we're going to get a great price and we're going to cash it. But regardless, my one official banger is Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown in this game. I really, really like this one, even though it's super square. In terms of my honorable mention, now I did cash my honorable mention on the Thursday night game, so maybe I should just start playing these officially. But regardless, the honorable mention I have here is Breece Hall over 4.5 receptions. This is offered at plus 145 odds at bet 365. I really like this play, but it's one of those things where I don't want to put a full unit on it or risk anything with a little bit of unknown, more unknown than I would like for a bet. But last year, if we just go off of that, which I get it, we'll talk about it. Last year's different situation, but quietly had basically 1 million receptions last year. Breece Hall had a ton of receptions last year. It was just, I say quietly because their offense was like a complete and utter abomination. Zach Wilson was quarterback. He's just god-awful. He's just the worst thing in the world from a quarterback perspective. And those receptions for Breece Hall didn't really amount to anything, but boy, did he have a lot of receptions. He had 8 games last year with 5 or more receptions, which doesn't sound like a ton. First of all, we are getting this at plus 145 odds, so it is a good price. But Breece Hall missed this in the first 5 games of the year. He did it in 8 of the remaining 12. So he hit it in 8 of the last 12 games. Much, much better hit rate. And even with the change at quarterback, let's hope that Aaron Rodgers doesn't tear his Achilles one snap into his Jets career. If it's Aaron Rodgers, he loved using the running backs in the passing game. Go back to his Packers days, which admittedly is far behind us at this point. But you go back to his best years in his Packer days. Think about all the passes that he completed to Aaron Jones, who was great running back out of the backfield catching the football. He used a ton of Aaron Jones out of the backfield. And the Jets, they're going to have a better offensive line, presumably, than what they had last year, but they're still facing a fierce pass rush of the 49ers. Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, ton of good passers coming from the 49ers. So Aaron Rodgers coming off a torn Achilles. If he even sniffs pressure, the guest series is going to dump it off to Breece Hall. I'm not taking yards because I don't think he's going to have a lot of yards with those receptions. So I think he could have like 5 for 15 yards, something disgusting like that. But Breece Hall has at least shown that he can be effective in the passing game. He can catch the ball from if you can catch the ball from Zach Wilson, you can catch the ball from anybody. So I really like this play. If I end up upgrading it to an official bet, which I did not do with the first honorable mention, I will let you guys know. I'll send it out to my Dub Club. I'll put it in the pinned comments and I'll tweet it out. I'll make sure everybody knows if this gets upgraded to an official bet. As of right now, I'm just leaving it as an honorable mention, and that's all we got. So one official banger and one honorable mention for you guys to lock in. If Christian McCaffrey cashes this bad boy, we're good. We're sitting pretty. 1 unit on this one. Appreciate everybody for watching. Again, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, check out the Dub Club if you are interested, and have a good one.